Happy holidays from all of us at News Channel 5.
Tonight, a lethal attack on U.S. forces in Iraq. Soldiers in a mess tent, slaughtered as they eat. Iraqi terrorists claim responsibility. And again the question, are U.S. troops getting the protection they need? Confusion over pain relievers. With all the safety questions, CBS asks the experts what you should do. This baby girl is in the record books. Why? Just wait. And Eye on America. Toys that claim to be educational. What, if anything, do they really teach your kids?
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. It was one of the deadliest single attacks on American military forces in the Iraq War, and they never saw it coming. U.S. troops and civilian support personnel were eating lunch today at a U.S. base near the northern city of Mosul when a powerful explosion, possibly a rocket, tore through their mess tent. All day, the casualty count continued to climb. The latest shows more than 20 killed, most of them American soldiers, and about 60 wounded. CBS's Kimberly Dozier begins our coverage.
The deadly explosion ripped through the heavily fortified U.S. base, the full force hitting a vulnerable and packed mess tent at lunchtime.
It was really just sort of a sea of wounded and dead. There were people crying, there were folks that were numb, that collapsed in grief.
Reporter Jeremy Redmond was there.
Soldiers that were very quick thinking and turned their dining room tables upside down and placed the wounded on top of them. Outside, several medics had showed up and set up an area where they were working on the soldiers in the parking lot. There were incredibly brave soldiers that ran right into the tent when the explosion happened and carried other wounded out on stretchers.
They pulled the wounded from the wreckage among scattered lunch trays and pools of blood.
People couldn't hear because of the blast. They were complaining they'd lost their hearing. It was very chaotic.
The injured helped those even worse off, but many could not be saved. American soldiers, along with Iraqi troops and U.S. and foreign contractors, were among the dead. Scores more were wounded. A bunker-like dining facility is just a few weeks from completion, and the unit was a month from going home and hadn't lost a soldier until today. Their loved ones are now hearing the worst.
Our hearts go out to the families, the friends, the fellow soldiers who lost comrades in arms today.
The bombing at Forward Operating Base Meres is the deadliest incident since 17 U.S. soldiers were killed in Mosul last year when two Blackhawks collided, apparently struck by ground fire. Today's attack was claimed on an Islamic website by Ansar al-Sunnah, a militant group with ties to al-Qaeda. The group called it a martyrdom operation, usually code for a suicide bombing. Every manner of militant violence has been on the rise in Mosul, directed at local police and city officials, as well as Americans. U.S. commanders are planning new military crackdowns in hopes of crippling militant activity before the January polls. But so far, multiple military campaigns have barely slowed the insurgents down. Kimberly Dozier, CBS News, Baghdad.
As details of this deadly attack emerged today, President and Mrs. Bush visited American troops wounded in the war at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington. Afterward, President Bush spoke about today's casualties.
This time of year is particularly sorrowful for the families as we head into the Christmas season. We pray for them. We send our heartfelt condolences to the loved ones who suffered today. Just want them to know that the mission is a vital mission for peace.
The president's staunchest ally in the Iraq War, Britain's Prime Minister Tony Blair, was in Iraq today visiting British troops. Blair apologized to those wishing they were home for Christmas, but called the war, quote, a job worth doing. With today's deadly attack, the question is again being asked, are U.S. forces in Iraq getting the best security, the best protection possible? And if not, why not? CBS's David Martin at the Pentagon has that part of the story.
This was what the mess tent looked like during Thanksgiving dinner. The hole torn by what could have been a rocket or a mortar shows how little protection